Welcome, everybody. This is episode 27 of my podcast, and today I'm very grateful to welcome Chun-Quin Li, also known as Lee. That's correct, isn't it? Lee is the founder of the Kreod Group of companies, which include Kreod Architecture, founded in 2011 by yourself. More recently, Kreod X from 2021. Lee, if I give an overview of who you are to our audience, and then you can kind of explain all, if you will, please, because
Absolutely,
very
yeah.
exciting kind of chat ahead, I would say.
Yeah.
Looking at your background, Kreod Architecture, an award-winning design practice, which was founded by yourself in 2011. Your highlight project that I've read about was the Kreod Pavilion at the London Olympics of 2012. So look forward to hearing more about that. And then over and above, more recently, Kreod X, which is a cutting-edge technology that integrates design for manufacture and assembly principles with advanced intelligent automation. Transforms architecture, engineering, and construction industry by automating processes, boosting efficiency, providing certainty, and improving project outcomes. Brilliant opening, Lee, I must say. And thank you for joining us. And please expand on that opening.
Yes. Call me Lee is my last name, but people call me
Yes.
Lee. Less
Yeah.
is more.
Yeah. Yeah.
The power of simplicity, just Lee. So
Brilliant.
I'm the founder of Kreod companies, obviously the architectural practice, and it's all started with as an architectural student, it all started with a curiosity, and when I walk through the cities as an architectural student, and I then realize, why do we build ugly buildings?
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
I started as a curiosity.
Okay.
Because, look, I'm going to spend the next 7 years doing my architecture, degree in part one and part two and part three.
Yeah.
So if we end up doing these ugly boxes with a pitched roof, so-called house, it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then when I started this architecture studies, I had a job from my tutor's practice actually, and then I was very surprised when I joined his practice for the summer internship.
Yeah.
And compared to what he was teaching at university what he does in the real world, it was shocking because this is so boring.
Yeah.
Where's the creativity? Where's the spirit? Creativity,
Yeah.
spirit. I said, Lee, that's why I'm teaching. I'm afraid, in the real world,
Yeah.
you can't do anything. Every time you meet a client, the QA just says it's too expensive, and you simplify the design and simplify again, make it very cheap. There's nothing left to design. That's why I'm teaching. Keep this creativity spirit. Keep myself young.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a very first kind of inspiration. So if I don't want to end up finishing my university doing things like this. I want to change it. And then when I finished my part one, I had this fortunate opportunity working at Foster Partners. And there was a specialist modeling group, and they
Yeah.
do some coding, parametric design, and digital fabrication.
Yeah.
And I was inspired when I went back to university in my part two. I did a research for my dissertation. I created the research title called the parametric design, digital fabrication, which I believe could be the game changer in the AEC industry.
Okay.
And to conclude the research, I designed a pavilion for the London Olympics.
Yes.
I was proposing that, and the only problem, there was no clients. It was only a design, only an idea.
Okay.
If you look at this, once Miss Van der Rohe said, making ideas, can ideas be made? How?
Yeah.
So if you look at the traditional role, architect in the mid 16th century in Greek, it meant master builders. So
Okay.
the role of architects were not only the master of spatial effects, they were also closely involved in the construction process.
Okay.
But a school of architecture, you're not really doing anything like it's more like about making ideas.
Yeah.
And the theory and the philosophy sides. We didn't have this hands-on, experience making buildings. That's something we lack. And also costing, that's another problem.
Of course.
We're not trained to do that. We can only just give the vision, and then the clients get quite excited. After the meeting, you can tell the client will speak to the QS friend.
Yeah.
What's the damage?
Yes.
I like that. I like the design.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It
I love the
is. No.
design, but
Yeah.
what's the damage?
Yeah.
How much per square meter now, or square foot?
Yeah.
So that's there's always this this silo kind of model, the cost balancing between the cost and the vision, sustainability, etc. Built
Yeah.
environment. So this is, and I thought this must be an opportunity, leveraging. How do we leverage technology we design something beautiful, architecturally beautiful,
Hmm.
environmentally sustainable, and financially viable. You can't have everything. There's
Yeah.
the triangle thing. You can have
Yeah.
the speed and the quality,
Yeah.
the cost will be higher. But how do we have everything? How
Yeah.
can we make a Lamborghini car? At the same price as the Ford.
Yeah.
It's affordable price with affordable price. So that's the computational design coding. That's how I started. The developing
Okay.
the technology. This DFMA, design for manufacturing assembly.
Yep.
In manufacture, all you do the detail model is ready for manufacturing. That's how I developed pavilion ideas. And the
Okay.
only problem initially there was no clients. So I started pitching my
Yes.
ideas,
Okay.
sending thousands of pitching letters. I had a
Yep.
full-time job that time. After work, you finish the work quite late,
Yeah.
in the architectural practice. Loads of Red Bull and black coffee and drafting this, pitching letter. And
Yeah.
after thousands of rejections and failures, I managed to secure some really big ones. Like Hewlett-Packard sponsored the 3D printing, Bentley
Okay.
System, the technology support, like software license.
Wow.
Queen sponsored
Yeah.
the site, equal timber from Cabinet Norwegian, all that.
Yeah.
And so I took this role as the client.
Okay.
Well, apart from structural design, I did everything.
Yeah.
Client, the architect, lead
Yeah.
designer, the principal designer, and principal contractor, project manager,
Wow.
and end user. So it was an interesting project, and I've posted quite a few articles and videos on the LinkedIn newsletter, the
Yeah.
Kreod X, and showing what we've done. And I created a workflow.
Okay.
Actually, the pavilion we designed, when I spoke to QS, colleague, he said, this is a £1 million project. And I said, well, how did you write the £1 million just like that? He said,
Yeah.
I said, look at the O2 Arena behind your proposed pavilion. That initial budget is 350 million. At the end,
Okay.
costed over £1 billion.
Wow.
So, have you built anything, anything in your life? I said, no. Oh, that's your biggest challenge. Make it happen. Because I didn't have any construction experience, only making. But
Yeah.
build some stuff, smaller things as well. But I took the challenge. And the design for manufacturing assembly, you build everything digitally. You understand how it's going to be made, the cost implications, how you put them together. That's the purpose of assembly, like the IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
In a large scale. So, and then the good thing is that I developed this workflow. And also on the construction side, it doesn't require skilled work. It didn't require skilled workers.
Okay.
It's a bunch of students, the very complex project,
Yeah.
It was all made by robots, the pavilions, and just assembly on site. All you need is common sense, turn up and put the right component in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think that leads to this kind of social responsibilities. We always say we have a labor shortage.
Yeah.
And now I was thinking about, okay, we can actually build boxes, very simple stuff.
Yeah.
Using
Okay.
Local people.
Yeah.
There's not much non-skilled laborers, just need a health and safety training and common sense.
Yeah.
You can build them together. Just put the component in the right place. That's it.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that time in 2012, we had a cheap Eastern European workforce, so there was no sense of urgency. You just JC design, build, subcontract. They don't deliver, don't pay them.
Yeah.
And that was the attitude, and obviously the timing was not right. And we started again, like exploring, just in the beginning of the pandemic, and I felt yes, time has come.
Okay. Yeah.
We need to, but I didn't give up in the last few years of trying to building stuff and do the detail modeling, and then we started with Dassault system, the software in partnership initially. It's a software being used in aerospace, defense,
Yes.
automotive industries. So that's a DFMA. You model everything,
Yeah.
and then we develop software on the top of the platform,
Okay.
and it automates down to bolts and nuts, shop drawings,
Right.
the Kingspan system. For example, the cladding systems. We capture we call it capture knowledge. So all the manufacturing knowledge.
Yeah.
And the engineering template. You set constraints. If it doesn't work, it doesn't generate. For example, the panel is the constraints are 1.5 meter wide.
Yeah.
3.2 meter tall. If it's bigger than that, it doesn't generate. It tells you, okay, would you consider the bespoke panel will be triple the price? That's something that
Okay, yeah.
architects usually don't pay much attention about. They just won't focus on the aesthetic point,
Yeah.
the language or the pattern or the geometry or color, but they're not really aware that how much is it actually bigger than the manufacturer approval dimensions,
Yep.
etc. So yeah, that's something we started building the technology, and I was pitching this to some very prestigious developers,
Okay.
and and then they were very excited about this actually, and they said this is how the construction industry should work, because we have the clarity.
This is post COVID, is that right? So
That's during the well,
this is during, yeah.
after the first lockdown, we opened up for a bit, I remember, and
Yeah.
then we could see people, and we did some online presentation
Okay.
with some clients as well, because everybody was panicking,
Yeah.
the material fluctuations. There was a war, and the
Yeah.
pandemic, everything shut down, all the manufacturers. So
Yeah.
so everybody's looking for alternatives, and then I present this technology, and the client was very excited. This is how the industry is supposed to work. You got the bill of materials clarity, the costing.
Yep.
Because they're looking for certainty now. Back in the days, it was more about competitive tender.
Yes.
But that's not right. It doesn't work. Everybody knows. That's why there were, according to the industry report, over 5,600 construction companies went bust last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? That many? Why? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Year before, last year, ranging between the one-man band construction company,
Yeah.
up to the ISG PLC public company,
Yeah.
one of the biggest construction companies in the world, in the UK.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of people looking for the alternative, the certainty. How do we help them? Is the software automated generates bill of materials, down to how many screws goes in there.
Yeah.
Anything can be manufactured, like for example, back to the Kingspan system we developed with an ex-Kingspan employee, and we developed a system. And I actually tested one of the projects. I sent the architectural elevation to them.
Yep.
And they came back. So this is £186,000. And I gave the shop drawings, unfolded panels and the bill of materials. They priced £142,000. And I called the guy and said, why is it £44,000 cheaper?
Yeah.
This is what you want. I said, we'll give you a quotation now. And this quotation will last for 20 working days. Good luck. Also work with you. Yeah. So this, you can tell the difference, certainty. So we started pushing this, selling this, the technology to trying to sell technology developers.
Yeah.
They're excited, but one of the guys, a big client, I wanted to work with him so much. At the end of the meeting, he said, have you built anything with this technology yourself? And as a contractor, principal contractor, there was a silence. I didn't.
Okay.
And in that case, I can't be your guinea pig, man. It's too much risk.
Yeah.
It's not been tested.
Yeah.
And now I was very disappointed. I understood what the problems were. So I started my construction company.
Why? Okay. Yeah.
I convinced my one of the projects in Fulham outside Hammersmith.
Yeah.
We were the lead architects for the delivery. The client bought a plot of land with planning permission. We started all the conditions and detailed design. And I said to clients, this is my technology.
Yeah.
And this is my team. And can I be your principal contractor for this? We'll prepare the cost as well. Yeah, they accepted us. So we started building this. That's how so from architectural practice, you can see the awareness and the frustration with how this industry works, always boils down to cost. Everybody cares about money. But what I've learned is the workflow, is wrong. All the industries, AEC, in the silo business model, people have different agendas and priorities. We're not on the same page. So this technology is integrated solution from, technically from, the design, manufacturing, and DFMA side, finance to delivery, logistic and delivery, and beyond that, operation maintenance. That's a tool we still in the progress, because we left that sort of system due to the cost is too expensive. The software license is 10 times more expensive than Revit,
Yeah.
So left me with no choice. And luckily the Siemens approached me. I said, what you do. And do you know the most software actually built on Siemens kernel, Parasolid kernel? So I didn't know that. It's like a big engineering, like Parasolid, SolidWorks, Bentley Systems, or ANSYS simulation software. Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that. So we started exploring that. Now, actually, we kind of developing our own independent software.
Yeah.
The beta version is ready soon. And we're building stuff ourselves as well as a principal contractor, really,
Wow.
ranging between we look into the social housing. I think the potential is large, like 600 units.
Yeah.
And then we're building a platform like an integrated supply chain. So we drag and drop, say, brickwork. It gives you how many bricks,
Okay.
how many brick ties, insulation panels,
Yeah.
and links to all the marketplace we're building. That's what we're raising the fund for £10 million.
10,
to
yes.
build this.
Well, we
Yeah.
mentioned before. Yeah, that's your current. You're looking for an investor to
Yeah.
raise £10
Yeah.
million. Okay,
Yeah, so
that's exciting and worrying at
yeah.
the same time, I should
I
imagine.
sleep even less now.
Yeah.
Finish at 2 o'clock. It used to be like at midnight. Now it's at 2 o'clock, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And I got 2 kids. So yeah, it's
And
good.
that's that's the
I
level
have
of
a sense of
funding you
purpose.
need. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yes, that drives me. Like there's a sense of urgency from day one as a sweaty architecture student.
Yeah.
We want to build architecture. I don't want to
Yeah.
build the buildings. It's just
Yeah.
not a naughty box with a piece of roof, so-called houses.
Yeah.
We can do better than that. But the thing is, it's the workflow really,
Yeah.
and the business model. That's why I'm trying to revolutionize
Yeah.
the business model, intelligently revolutionize the business model of the AEC industries. There's transparency, certainty. You have a software that automates everything.
Yeah.
Now, if we tender the job or helping some developers,
Yeah.
for the contractor, all you need to submit is a prelims, because you know what goes in there. You get
Yeah.
bigger trade discount, yeah. You can even keep that trade discount, so you're
Yeah.
little profit,
Yeah.
But at least we're on the same page. If the price has gone up, for example, say if you build the ground floor, we need another 20,000 bricks.
Yeah.
And we come in the morning on the 1st of May, and the price each brick's gone up by 5p.
Yeah.
But times 20,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So everybody can see that. You don't need to. What you don't want is you have the package deal, like this is masonry, and
Yeah.
the price has gone up. Like our clients, we help with some clients, developers.
Yeah.
They made millions or even billions from other industry. What they're really good at, they don't understand the nitty-gritty details of contract, this and that, how you build the buildings. What they're really good at is money. They understand numbers.
Okay.
Yes, the price has gone up. I know that.
Yeah.
I knew that before, actually.
Yeah.
Because we invest in businesses across the world.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking on. That's what we're paying attention on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah, the price has gone up. We understand that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Contractor, can you give me breakdown down to pennies?
Yeah.
Can you do that? No.
Very unlikely. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of and then most, say 5,000 construction company went bust last year.
Yeah.
Because you can't demonstrate that, and people see you as a cowboy.
Yeah.
You lost the trust, and people stop paying you, and then the contract you have cash flow problems.
Yeah.
That's how you fold your business. People don't pay you maybe 1 month, but 2-3 months.
Why do you think this approach has not been looked at previously then? Because it seems to be complete common sense to me.
Yes.
But I suppose most often the best ideas are the common sense ones that people haven't first thought about.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Yeah. The common sense. We don't have that. I mean, we might sound like Nigel Farage, but actually we don't have common sense anymore.
Yeah.
In any industry, in only day-to-day living, you tell people to do something. This is what you need to do, and they're trying to be creative, do something else, make the whole thing more complicated.
Yeah.
Common sense is one thing, but it's risk reversal. That's the problems in industry.
Of course, yeah.
I tried so hard to sell it as the pavilion. It wasn't just a pavilion, for example.
Yeah.
It's a workflow.
Yeah.
People get it, but who's going to take that risk, as a big tier 1 contractor or a developer? It's not, you build a pavilion, nice, or there's a robot or the coding. Yeah, brilliant. Good for you, mate. But I'm just build a simple box of pitch rule. How do you do that? Even demonstrate that. Have you built anything yourself?
Yeah.
So all the chicken egg problems not being tested.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to take a hit. At the end of the day, most people were just employees. We're just something goes wrong.
Yeah.
My job is on the line. Think about that.
Yeah.
And
so you've needed people to. You've needed along your career path so far. You've needed people to believe in you. And those that have so far, and obviously you're looking to raise this £10 million worth of funding now. You need people on side to really believe in what you're doing.
I believe is one thing really. Is our approach is, the dream big,
Yeah.
start small, but lead by example. What the clients say, have you built anything with this?
Yeah.
No. And I said, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
We're out.
Yeah.
Too much risk.
Yeah, of
So I
course.
had to build, if I started a construction company, we start testing that.
Yeah.
And then we learn, we're not just a software developer, now architects,
Yeah.
the engineering team from the aerospace automotive industry is helping us.
Yeah.
On the engineering template side for the automation and software engineer as well. And the more important is construction experience, the logistics,
Yeah.
the financial, the payments, from the payment terms,
Yeah.
from the logistics and the delivery. It's all finance at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then that problem you don't know, you can't learn unless you do that.
Of course.
You can't just call. I do speak to a few people from the big construction companies.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell you the problems. If you listen to some, podcasts or talks,
Yeah.
nobody's going to tell the problems. Come on, man, you can't because
Yeah.
you saying words on behalf of the PLC company. You say something negative, the share price will drop.
Yeah.
You lose your job, and your ex-employer
Yeah.
will take legal actions against you.
Yeah.
And at the end, you'll be unemployable in the industry.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
So if you don't tell the truth, a software engineer, you think about that, they don't even know the size of brick.
Yeah. True.
How can you solve the industry problem?
Yeah.
Because this type of software engineer, software development, it's not like a Uber or Airbnb. It's a B2C. Kind of simple things, payments and convenience. Efficiency. You need the industry knowledge.
Of course.
And the engineer don't even know the problems. Many software developers I've learned.
Yeah.
They don't even know what the real problems are.
Yeah.
So when you create a solution, not really solving their problems, you don't understand what they're firefighting for on a daily basis, what the real problems are. And this is a secret thing. You don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
You can't talk about this. Any company, it's just, especially the public companies. Until it's too late, until the company's gone bust.
Yeah, you're in a catch-22 situation, and that's the challenge that you probably continually face.
Yes, and now we're talking to some prospect clients, contractor developers. And then, when I present the project, these are the big apartments or the housing. We designed that. We use that software. And by the way, we're the principal contract. We built it. That suddenly there's a confidence.
Absolutely.
And you show the figures. Traditionally, this is how you do.
Yeah.
All this weakness, problems, and how we deliver this.
Yeah.
It's all, open book contract. In a way, the open book, what I'm saying, it's not like what I've spent, I show the receipt.
Yeah.
If I say we need 20,000 bricks for this house, I buy 25,000, I still can show the receipt. But you don't know how many bricks we're going to need anyway.
Yeah.
So now we're showing the exact quantity. What goes into that building? We break down the payments.
Okay.
By month 1, 2, 3, what we need to buy.
Yeah.
If the price has gone up, look, it's gone up, man. We separate the bill materials from the labor cost.
Yeah.
Look, the labor cost is going to freeze from April 2025 to 26. That's frozen. But the material, man, I can't invest in your business. This is your development. I'm just buying materials on behalf.
Yeah.
It's gone up. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I can't take the hit. So you draw like a very clear line. I think it works very well. Not for other people, but for us, many of my clients and some contractors we're working with, is working very well because people want to know the cost. How much? It all boils down to cost. Yeah, it's gone up. I need to know how much. I need to see the numbers down to pennies.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of problem we're solving. From the software is one thing, but the business model, the procurement, and to delivery, and beyond that, later on we do, we obviously we learn the technique from the aerospace industry.
Yeah.
The services, maintenance, operation maintenance side that will follow because we have a real digital twin from that, and basically, So this is quite good, for operation maintenance. That's where the big money is, because you build a London Bridge train station, spending 10, 12 years. It's going to be there for hundreds of years. During that time, operation maintenance, regeneration, extension.
Yeah.
So you need to have this digital twins, the real, not the digital twin as a BIM model.
Yeah.
That's a fake. That's a representation. You want to understand all the maintenance implications. The little clocks, needs to be serviced.
Yeah.
For example, airplane. You don't
Yeah, yeah,
service a plane when it's broken down in the middle of the air. Sorry, it's broken down.
yeah,
Embrace the impacts.
yeah.
So you need to
Right.
service them. The buildings as well, you
Yeah,
only service it when it's something bad happens.
yeah,
It's a rescue, it's a firefighting mode. Again,
yeah,
something's
yeah,
gone wrong, and then we need to. Oh, similar to the health and health sector, like heart attacks, for example.
yeah.
We've invested so billions of pounds over the last decades, trying to figure out how to save someone who just had a stroke.
Yep.
You see the prevention of things, and with a smartwatch device, maybe AI in the near future actually alerts you, say, okay, you know,
Yeah.
you need to go to the
Yeah.
doctor now,
Yeah.
and they alert you, a GP or hospital or
Yeah.
specialist, or even your family members. So, rather than that thing happened, and then you got very little narrow,
So
time
you're looking to take a completely refreshingly new approach ultimately.
yeah. So
Uh,
from the top down, we look at it as a business,
yeah.
how the business, the finance works, and also in the meantime understand the industry, real industry problems.
Yeah.
Obviously there's so many issues that out there, and we can't just solve everything overnight. But what we can do is we actually build stuff, even this small. We're not building big train stations or
Yeah.
nuclear power stations, things like that. But the principle of doing smaller housing developments is the same principle. We're getting this right. We can scale. We can help architects. The job is, the automation. We capture all the knowledge,
Yeah.
all the building system engineering. So, everything we see, we build, is all been designed, engineered, tested,
Yeah.
certified by somebody like Kingspan Panels. They're
Yeah.
liable for everything. It's their product. You and me as an architect or engineer, we don't own the intellectual property.
Yeah.
So we template that. You just use, okay, one Kingspan, you populate all the things. Does
Yeah.
it look nice? Yes. Can we get planning? Yes, likely. And we also have a brick slip system. You compare this too.
Yeah.
And when you present to your clients, actually, you can compare the cost. You can tell the client the cost are. If you want to build this building
Yeah.
today or within the next 20 days,
Yeah.
if you make a purchase, this is how much it costs you. So we actually empower the architects, because the only thing, the biggest puzzle missing is nobody knows how much it costs.
Yeah.
And you hire the QS. They are important, but but at the end of the day, it's an educated guess. That's the best option we have in the
Yeah, yeah.
market, in the professional realm.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of, how do we're not getting rid of jobs, obviously, the AI or intelligent automation, IA.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It makes things more efficient, but ultimately the supreme design tool is the human brain.
Yes.
We need to leverage technology and our intelligence,
Yeah.
especially the emotional side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can transform this. Everybody. I'm sure every single developer wants to build landmark buildings, but well, how much does it cost me? Nobody knows it. What's the risk behind that?
So what's your current? We talked about things that you've worked on in the past and what have you. What's your current main project you're working on now, or looking to raise investment for? I presume is that.
Yeah, we obviously the lead by example. That's
Yeah.
the importance, because people will not take risks. We're
Yeah.
not we're busy with the building stuff.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned is, we all know we can't change people. Some say you can change the way working with the people. Yeah, well, you need, if you have a luck. Yeah, if there's a luck, potentially you can make it through.
Yeah.
But pretty much it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And you have to build this. Demonstrate. This is how we do that.
Yeah.
That's our approach, rather than build a software and then solution this and this that we can help you faster.
Yeah.
People are, wow. No, thank you. Yeah, that's why I've learned there's so many startups have failed, because
Of course.
they're creating a solution, not solving the real problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can only know the problems if you're doing it.
Absolutely.
You should build.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Ms. Wendell once said,
Yeah.
don't talk, build.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's quite missing, really. The industry is, I can design something pretty. That's not, back to your question, what we build, we do the retrofit.
Yeah.
From, the grade to listed build, retrofit, like renovation, listed buildings for multimillionaires. We like that. We like to solve rich people's problems. And down to looking to do the housing. I think the Labour government's 1.5 million houses. That's the agenda. I think we have been talking to some MPs,
Okay.
including labor and peers as well. And we have solutions actually. This our technology, because also some investments are public sector, public funded in Homes England, for example.
Yes.
So we provide certainty. The banks want to know, what goes into the building. What am I paying for?
Yeah.
At the moment, the QS is benchmark things.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, well, they're not liable. I don't think so. And just the developer takes a hit, or the contractor or subcontractor not getting paid, or and they end up with broken families, mental problems, even leads to suicide.
Yeah.
That's something we need to work on that. We can't just talk about this sustainability, net zero.
Yeah.
But we really need to focus on people, and leveraging the technology, make things work better.
Which is exactly the kind of ethos that you're building. You've worked for so many years to do, and it's it certainly sounds like you're onto something. If you're able to attract investors that are interested in raising such capital, then clearly there is a huge interest out there.
Yeah. So everything needs to point to the finance. At the end of the day, it's finance. Yeah. Whatever you do is finance.
Yeah.
The top of the tree. I think the architect's on the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Working so hard, trying to push the boundaries and this and that. At the end, it doesn't matter. In many cases. Most cases.
Money. Yeah.
I think we just need to work more intelligently. We have the AI now. We leverage our building the tool on the top of that as well. And backed by the Siemens, the big boys who are working in partnership with Siemens.
Yeah.
I think that boosts a big confidence, or building
Most
alliance
definitely.
with larger companies. So just, I always raise the question, would you like to pay yourself £20,000 a month? Or do you want to make a £10,000 or £1,000 an hour? How do we make £1,000 an hour? It's automated, that we try to automate. It's a click. All the shop drawings, all the manufacturing information, automate, done.
Yeah.
And the architects can't do this level of detail, The BIM software, again, I've been arguing, if you do this BIM software, building information modeling, you do all this beautiful 3D BIM with a little bit of intelligence behind it, not much, but you end up issuing 2D drawing package.
Yeah.
If you ask yourself a question, what's changed? It's just like one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
The problem with the major problem, the root of disaster, I would say, are the 2D drawings. There's no data. You give the same drawing package and specification to different contractors.
Yeah.
They come back to you with the different prices. Do you see what I mean? There's no clarity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sure people price it very low. Like one of the developers, he's got a project. He said, I've been doing this for 35 years. Give me the area. I can tell you how much it will cost me. And this is a £10 million job.
Yeah.
3 years, contingency, all sorts of problems, risk.
Yeah.
It's 13.2 million, 13.5 million pounds. The banks are willing to give that money.
Yeah.
There's somebody who's tendered the job for 8.9 million.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you can't build that for 8 point. He said, I know, but I can't give that job to somebody who priced for 11 or 12. Do you know why? I said, why? Because they will end up charging me 15 through variation orders.
Yeah, yeah.
So this whole thing is just naive,
Yeah.
And so we just we're helping these developers, the clarity, how much it costs you, and then
which is crucial. It most definitely sounds like you're onto something, and it's. I think there's a very fascinating time ahead for you to come, and for the industry. If you can, if you can start to roll this out and it becomes a huge thing as you hope, then
So we're the guinea pig. We don't have a choice.
You can't. It sounds like you've been the guinea pig for a long time. It's
People believe in you is one thing, but you must deliver. That's
absolutely.
That's the fundamental
what it boils
thing.
down to.
Even as a small project, I want to see the results.
Yeah.
What are the benefits? Figures and facts. Show me that. Show me the figures.
Yeah.
We're doing that. So it's not. It's been very very difficult journey to be honest, but it's quite good. I see there's the turn of light. I can see we kind of cracking this industry problems by doing it.
Well, be sure to. I know we've spoken beforehand. To send me some of your work so that I can share and start to promote, and as well as people listening to this to actually visually see the work that you've done historically and everything that you've got going on as well, because that will hugely
and also
help.
Our software we are launching the beta version very soon. It's free to use. So anybody who's interested, sign up at kreodx.com.
Okay.
Just sign up, and then we like to have a chat with them, see what their problems are.
Yeah.
How we can help you, for the architects, the project delivery side of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we like so much. We have to learn. That's the thing. But we are
You're,
there to support. The architects,
yeah.
engineers, contractors, and clients, and yeah, build something amazing.
Well, all credit to you. It's fascinating. We could talk all day, but I need to drive people to your website,
Yeah.
people to actually see visually what you're proposing, what you've got coming up, and I'm quite sure in the future once the investment comes through, then
Yes.
there's lots to see, lots more to
A
come.
lot to see. Yeah, exciting. Yeah. So we currently I'm investing the software myself. Obviously, the next
Yeah.
stage is more like getting more serious because we need a proof of concept. Again, chicken
Okay.
egg.
Yeah, yeah,
You need to have a
yeah,
product. You need
yeah.
to have an MVP. For us, we build something with the technology ourselves. It's a
Yes.
very good starting point. So we are very confident in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the next stage, what's coming is a very exciting 2025, despite the trade war.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, I think yeah, in the midst of chaos, there's opportunity. We see this opportunity. It's great actually, and then people
that
kind
is
of
good.
the
Yeah.
old business model is no longer working,
Yeah.
and now people used to have the choice because cheap labor here in
Yeah.
the UK, and now all the opportunities gone. If you use the same business model, even just 5 years ago,
Yeah.
it's not working anymore. You make a loss as a
Yeah.
developer.
Yeah.
It's not working anymore. The old, even do this building information modeling, all that. Nothing's changed. It's still the same procurement. It's
Yeah.
almost like when Henry Ford asked people, "What faster transport do you want?" People answered faster horses. He was talking about industrial revolution,
Yeah. Yeah.
and by doing it,
Yeah.
and now what we're talking about, as not just talking and doing, is a
Yeah.
digital industrial revolution,
Yeah.
and we are changing it by doing as well.
Well,
Doers. We
it's
need doers, not talkers.
yeah.
We all know the problems.
The world needs more people like that,
It's
to be
so
honest
easy
with
to
you.
talk
Yeah,
about that.
it really is. And it means nothing. Talk is cheap, as they say.
It
It's
is indeed, yeah. If
and
nobody's
you
taking
are
any actions, at the end
yeah,
of the day, you just see, this is a job at the end of the day.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, you will never solve the problems. You need to roll up the sleeves, hands on,
yeah.
get things
Well,
done, and then learn from it. Learn from mistakes.
well,
So obviously, it's not just
you're
the
clearly
job.
one of
Also, you had to
life's
deal with the clients. Different clients, they have different
yeah,
values and visions, agendas and priorities. That's the emotional side that they can't be replaced by the AI in the very near future. Ultimately, it might will be,
yeah.
but for now, yeah,
Well,
we
you
still
you
need.
you you benefit from a couple of decades of solid experience.
Yes,
You're clearly a doer, and
yeah,
it's people like you and the businesses you run that will take things to the next level, and it's
yeah.
it's all credit to you.
Yes, we're working on that.
Yeah,
That's what I've trained for. Just
yeah,
taking that to the next level.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
The
all
future's bright.
yes, it is. Well, on that note, look, it's been really interesting hearing your story because it's fascinating. I'm sure the audience will agree when this goes live. And thank you very much for everything you've told us about and everything you've
Thank you for the
done.
opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
appreciate it.
thank you, Lee. Look, really, really pleased to have you on, and welcome to welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Okay, well,